Hello, everyone. Welcome to EETF 95. My name is Patrick. I hope you guys are doing great. So today it is travel time. Let's, try and do something different. I have Mike Drew with me tonight. Hello.
Hello.
How are
Greetings
you?
from a very cold southern Ontario. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
Doing all right. The holiday season is over, and now I need a holiday, another
Yeah,
one.
that's right. That's how it goes.
Jesus.
That's how it goes.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't want to, be that guy, but holy shit. It's always like, as I mentioned before we started recording, either you're recovering from, a family thing or you're, getting mentally ready for the next one.
Yeah.
It never stops.
No, it's like, I'm very fortunate in my job that I get like quite a bit of time off compared to a lot of people throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I just got 2 weeks off from work, during the holiday season. And I'm sure that there are people who only get 2 weeks off the entire year.
True.
But I'm like, yeah, I could use another week just to recover from these 2 weeks. Like they've flown by. Like I blinked and I'm like, oh, I got to go back to work tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah. And and like, how can I say? It shouldn't, and it's entirely on me because like the people I see during the holiday season, they've been nothing but, brilliant with me.
Yeah.
It's not about them, but stuff like that makes me really anxious, gatherings like that. And it completely drains me.
It's, I remember there was something unrelated but similar came up, and I had mentioned it to my doctor. And she said, you may not realize it, but your body is keeping score. And I was like, okay. So yeah, you got to find those times to just decompress and, for yourself or something that makes you happy. And all those cliches that people, talk about, but I think it's probably true. She's probably right. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess my social battery is getting less and less of a charge with age.
That's why I had to get a new phone. Like my phone wasn't holding the charge that well either.
There you go. All right, so yeah, we are doing a mini episode related to travel. Each of us has 3 questions for the other person, and we can of course answer our own questions. So yeah, we can start. I'll start if that's okay.
Sure.
My first question would be, Mike, what was your best happy accident, air quotes, related to travel?
Wow. You know what? I don't have one that comes up immediately. And this is a bit of a cop-out, and it's not a great way to start the podcast, so I apologize.
That's okay.
But I would say, I think when you find a great meal, right? Or I'm not the type of person, and it hasn't been like this for a long, long time, and this might relate to a question later on, but I think you and I probably do most of our own bookings, right? We do our own planning. We do it all online and stuff. And years ago when we went to New Zealand was probably the last, which is 16 years ago now, 15 years ago, it was probably the last time I actually used a travel agent. So you're kind of putting yes, obviously you have to approve what you're doing, but you're putting things into their hands, and, a good travel agent will, and we went to one that specialized kind of in that part of the world. So a happy accident, probably not so much, but you are kind of directed in these places that you may not have necessarily thought about that way. So, probably some of the places I've stayed, and that's going to tie into one of the questions later. I would say something like that is probably a happy accident. One off the top of my head that I did, I guess, was we went to Vermont years ago, and I booked this place that was like really nice. Like it was like an A-frame cottage. We took my father-in-law, and it was great. And I remember, I think we were one of the very first bookings that this family had taken. And I didn't realize it, but it was like there was a mountain right beside us. So you would open the master bedroom, which is where obviously, my wife and I stayed, like you'd open the curtains and there was this beautiful mountain right there.
Nice.
I had no idea.
Jesus.
So I guess I did have a happy accident, but yeah, I mean, it's just different now because like when we went to, and I was on here talking about Japan, but you just have everything booked, not to the minute or anything, but you kind of have everything prepped, right? So unless something goes off the rails or I've been pretty fortunate in that. Oh, Dublin. I ended up in Dublin once and I didn't mean to. That was a bit of a happy accident.
Okay.
Yeah, which will come into one of your questions later, I think, too, which is, we were halfway across the Atlantic and the UK basically shut down and they said, you're going to Dublin. And we were like, we're not supposed to be going to Dublin. So I ended up in Dublin, which was cool. So that's a happy accident. There you go. There's 3, I guess.
No,
two.
yeah, that's good. But like, how come it like the UK shut down because of weather? Or?
Yeah, it was December 2010.
Okay.
And we were going back there for the holidays. Actually, it was the last holiday season before my son. My wife was pregnant, and we were sitting at Pearson Airport in Toronto. We knew we were going, and if you looked, all the Europe was having a big snowstorm, and actually the UK was as well, which is rare. And you're looking at the board, it's like cancel, delayed, cancel. And ours is like on time. And I'm like, okay. So we went, and halfway across the Atlantic, they came over and said, yeah, I can't remember. I think we were flying into Manchester. Manchester has just shut down. So we're being diverted to Dublin. And we're like, okay. So
wow.
Now the not happy accident part of that was the first thing we saw when we got off the plane. There was all these, do you remember H1N1, the big flu virus?
Yes.
So there was all these ads, or like, not ads.
Like PSAs?
PSAs about, hey, this is kind of prevalent at the moment and, take precautions. And this is 10 years, obviously, before COVID. So nobody's wearing masks at all. It was, we wonder in hindsight if my wife caught it. And,
okay.
yeah, it was a bit rough. But yeah, but ending up in Dublin for a few days was, there you go. That's my happy accident. But I got there eventually.
Yes, but like you had to scramble to get accommodation and all that, or?
Air Canada actually took care of it.
Oh, okay.
Where my wife is and the family is in the Midlands in England. So we ended up rebooking our own flight with EasyJet. EasyJet, yeah. Mm-hmm. And because they flew into East Midlands Airport, which is in Nottingham, technically Derbyshire, they'll argue about it when you're over there. But yeah, so we ended up rebooking that flight. We probably would have been there a day or two if we had actually waited to get back on the plane to go to Manchester, our original destination. So
okay, nice. For that question, I have 2 answers.
Okay.
One of them is a city and the other is a person.
All right.
So the city, my happy accident would be Geneva, because I think it was 2 years ago, I spent a week in Lyon.
Mm-hmm.
The plan was 1 week in Lyon and then flying from there to Berlin.
Okay.
And then like the month there or something. And then I learned while I was in Lyon that EasyJet was on strike. And
fantastic.
No EasyJet flights would leave from France.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, so let's try to improvise.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a big deal because like the people in Berlin knew I was coming and, that wasn't like, I wasn't in trouble or anything. But I look at the map and like, Geneva is not too far from Lyon. It's like, 90-ish minutes by train.
Okay.
So screw it. I'll fly out of Geneva to Berlin and I'll take a train from Lyon to Geneva.
Right.
And there were some delays with the train, but it was all right overall. And I got a hotel for one night in Geneva, and my God, the weather was absolutely gorgeous.
Nice.
And yeah, that city, I didn't really look things up, while I would be there. I just walked around Lake Geneva with the massive fountain and like the historic city center right nearby and a massive park like a few minutes away. It was like in the movies.
It's amazing.
It sounds like a cliche, but absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't believe my eyes.
I would love to go, but I've heard it's very expensive.
Yes, but I mean, during my day there, I walked around. So
sure,
that's not expensive.
No. So who did you fly with out of Geneva?
EasyJet still.
Okay.
Yeah, there weren't any problem in Switzerland regarding EasyJet, but like France was on strike because that's what they love doing over there.
I've never heard of a strike in France.
But it turned out to be a good, not deviation, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, listen, it's what does they say? Life's what happens when you're busy making plans, right? So I would love to go. That's definitely one of the cities in my, I don't know about you, but I always see those lists on on like Instagram or something. It'll say like the average person has been to less than 3 of these European cities or whatever. And
Okay.
Geneva will be on it. I'll be like, that's one I got to go to still. So
It's, I mean, you don't need to stay there for very long because it's not very big.
big, yeah.
But, like 2 days there, you can see quite a bit. And if you're lucky weather-wise, it's very enjoyable.
Cool. Yeah. Nice.
So, yes, the second answer would be a person. So, flashback to Croatia in 2011. I am in Split. It's a coastal city near the middle of Croatia. I took a guided tour. I do that sometimes, but not that often, of the historic city center.
Okay.
And there are only 2 people besides me. So we are 3 total.
Right.
One lady from New Zealand and another woman, maybe a few years younger than me, from South Africa. So we talk a little bit during the tour and all that. Gorgeous city, Split, if you have the chance to go.
Nice.
And and like the tour ends, and the lady from New Zealand didn't seem to be feeling like they're socializing. So she says bye and walks away. And then I keep talking to the South African woman, and it clicks pretty much. And we say, okay, so you're here for a couple of days, and what do you have planned for this afternoon? Because the tour was in the morning. And she says, I was thinking of planning to going through this small city nearby. It's called Trogir, Trogir.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, me too. And that was true. So we took the ferry together and we spent the afternoon there. And we kept in touch. And in 2017, we met again in Barcelona.
Oh, wow.
And we shared an Airbnb there. And visited the city together, went to a opera at the opera in Barcelona. And it was
very
awesome.
Cultured. You're very
well, I try.
That's awesome.
But she's awesome, and she would be a great guest on a pod.
You trying?
I'm thinking about it. So yes, that's my second answer to the first question.
Well, whatever her name is, I can assure, even if you have like the crappiest setup, like you're just going to use your phone, Patrick will make you sound like his editing skills. He will make you sound like a BBC presenter. It'll be crystal clear. So
thanks. Thank you. Okay. So why don't we do one of your questions?
Okay. So I chat GPT'd like quirky travel questions, and this was one of the ones that came up, but I like this one a lot actually. And it was, what's your airport ritual or superstition?
I don't know if I have a superstition.
I don't have a superstition.
Such. Okay. Well, I mean, I like to get there super early. I would rather, take care of security check and all that bullshit, and then sit for hours rather than having to hurry. But like ritual as such, I think airport-wise, I don't know if I really have one. I think my rituals would be more packing related.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of don't really have one, to be honest, related to airports. What about you?
I would agree with you. I mean, the thought in my head was was exactly what you said, getting there super early.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather be early than late. But the other thing that I do, and this has all changed since 2001, is obviously you're not allowed to take liquids. So, I always like to take additional water or additional drinks. So, and in this case, water, I will always take like an empty bottle and take that through and then fill it up. Now, but even 10 years ago, that was actually could be more difficult than now. I find most airports have like bottle stations. Heathrow doesn't. Heathrow has a ton. No, well, not that I've seen. Not in Terminal 5 that I saw when I was there last summer. But you definitely, but they have lots of water fountains, and anybody with half decent aim can get it in the bottle. So, but I would say definitely taking an extra bottle to fill up once I'm there.
Yeah,
which isn't terribly exciting, I know, but I think it's important. Like I like an aisle seat. I don't like to bug people if, and obviously I'm with my family 99.9% of the time anyway. But if I can have the aisle, then, I don't need to worry how much water I've drank.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Good point. But no, yeah, I know that in Quebec City, there definitely are like water fountains. Berlin, I'm not sure actually. But one thing that's nice about the airport in Berlin, because it's getting a lot of stick for many good reasons actually. But one thing that's nice is they have like a Tetra packs of water.
Okay. Yep.
In the duty-free shop,
right?
The main one. And I think it's only €1 because usually they really fuck you over with water bottles. But no, they kept that price reasonable at least.
I think those are the two things. I like to try to eat before I go on the plane as well. Because then, again, if the plane food's not great, you're not, especially for longer flights. But yeah, that's really my big things. You could get into the whole lounge situation, but I've thought about changing my credit card. We did a lot of traveling last summer, which, I've talked about on your podcast before. And I honestly thought about getting a credit card that would give me so many lounge passes. But, But then you hear about like, they can be really busy and, it's not going to be much of an upgrade from just being out in the normal population. Right. So I don't know. I might look into that in the new year. I'm still thinking about it. So
yeah, I don't know about lounges either, to be honest. I don't think I've ever tried it, but I wouldn't be able to relax anyway. And if there are lots of people in there, there's no point.
No, exactly.
But also, some airports are worse than others in that regard. Berlin is not good. There are not many seats. So, you have to keep walking, basically.
It might just depend when you're flying in and out of somewhere, stuff like that too. Like, I remember going to Charles de Gaulle and I couldn't believe how many seats there were. Whereas Pearson, you're always like in Toronto, you're always struggling. So I don't know.
Okay. Oh yeah. Charles de Gaulle is kind of a pain in the ass because there are like 5 terminals, I think.
Yeah.
And you have to take a shuttle to reach some of them. And it's kind of annoying. But
and if you can cut out how I said it and AI it into like how you said it, that would be great.
Okay. So we can move on to the second question. My second question would be, have you ever been scammed while traveling?
No, not that I'm aware of. The only time that kind of comes close was not last year now, 2024 in March. My family and I went to Los Angeles. I got a text on my phone saying that there had been unusual activity on a credit card. And I just assumed, and it had the last 4 digits of my card though, which is what kind of, tipped me off. But I got mad at my bank because it said, oh, click here or, call this number. And I'm like, we're not going to, you've been told a million times not to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't click on the link in the text. Don't call the number there. So I called the number on the back of my credit card. And sure enough, I had been charged. The charge came from Australia and it was like 30 cents. And it was it was called like Office Works or something like that. So long story short, I had been hacked. And I figure it happened when I was trying to pay for parking one day. It wouldn't take a credit card. And then I used a second credit card and that one worked, but it was the first one that got hacked. Oops.
Okay.
So I would say that's not really a scam. I guess it is, but they didn't get anything out of it. It just caused me headaches trying to call from 3 hours behind, like in a 3-hour different time zone.
Yeah.
But no, other than that, I've been very fortunate. I think it's just about being sensible and stuff too. And if something doesn't seem right, it's probably not. So yeah. No, what about you?
No, until last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in Rome. I know why that happened because it didn't, in a touristy spot, I'm always, on my guard, my defense is up. I don't talk to anyone. I scowl at them, you know. And what happened in Rome was I was walking around in a residential area. So my guard was down, kind of. So a car pulls up and the guy asked me something in Italian. I reply in Italian. I don't speak Italian. And then he, so okay, so English, yeah, starts talking, blah blah blah, and I see a bunch of gift bags.
Right.
That's something that you would receive at like a some kind of a event,
Right.
And I see a bunch of them on his passenger seat, fancy ones, and I see those and I don't say anything, and the guy keeps talking, and he's trying to go to this trade show of some sort, and his GPS isn't working, and blah blah blah. So I look up an address for him, and that's all right. And I keep talking, and and where are you from, and blah 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 blah. And then he gives me one of the gift bags. And okay, so thank you, that's very nice. And and keeps going. We talked for like a solid 20 minutes.
Wow.
And then eventually he wanted to buy flowers for his wife or something, and if I could
change something or
chip in a little bit,
sure,
or something, and considering the gift bags and all that. And I know it, like looking back, I sound like the biggest mark in the world.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I gave him 20 euros.
Right.
It's not horrible.
No, I know what you mean. We have a Costco not far from us, and there's like a Facebook group, and there's people that post on there about, hey, when I was in the Costco parking lot, somebody came and said this, or like, their debit wasn't working for the taxi and asked if they could give me cash and I would pay that, with my debit or my credit card or whatever. I think we just genuinely want to, I think yourself and I, whether we want to admit it or not, like we just try to help people or be nice or whatever. Yeah. So you're not really, it's easy to have your guard down when you're not,
Well, yeah, and I was like walking around I was looking for some street art, actually.
Right.
At least I found it. So that's a good part of the story. And I still have there was a box in the bag, and I was
going to say, what was in it?
There was a cufflinks.
Oh, okay.
A watch and a pen.
For 20 euro.
Well, it was like super cheap stuff.
Sure.
But I still have them as a reminder.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open always. And I know it sounds like I am the biggest idiot in the world, but I gotta say, at least the guy was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at least I made him work for it.
Right. Yeah. Well, if he could do that another if you said 20 minutes, if he did it another 2 times, he's making 60 euro an hour. So
yes. And assuming everybody gives him 20 eventually.
Exactly.
So.
Where have you ever been somewhere that had like it was just right out there? Like you were like, that's clearly a scam.
Yeah. Like
Paris is the one that jumps out to me. Yeah.
Paris, Istanbul, I'd say that would be the 2 worst. And actually, you mentioned Paris. There was this this typical thing, figure out where the ball is, with the 3 plastic cups.
The cups, yeah.
And there was a guy who got, and he wasn't a tourist. Actually, he was a French person. He was absolutely fuming, and for 1 second, it happened a few feet away from me, and for 1 second, I thought he was going to take a swing at the other guy.
Oh wow!
And I remember thinking, if you take a swing at that guy, there will be
20 on you,
kicking the shit out of you.
I just remember because you come out of the Eiffel Tower, and then there's the park. And I just remember thinking, we're just going. Let's get back to, I don't know, I think maybe whatever. And the river's there and stuff. But
yes.
But, and I'd read about it before we had gone. So I knew kind of what to expect. And, don't let anybody touch you or put something on you or whatever. So, I hear you.
Montmartre is another part of Paris that's been, that's really filled with, the ball in the plastic cup. Type of deals, because I saw I was looking at them out of the corner of my eye, and I remember seeing one saying something like cops, and the guy packed up.
They got a watcher, they got a watcher.
Half a second and walked away.
Yeah,
God. And at least the thing is, if you look at the big picture, Okay, so that was 20 euros.
Mm-hmm.
Lesson learned. But at least, like, a few weeks after that, I'm back home in my worry-free existence, or, kind of. And the guy is still trying to
Hustle.
scam people. So, at the end of the day, I win, air quotes.
Yeah. I hear ya. Well, you didn't give him credit card details or something like that, right?
No. And I wasn't mugged.
No.
So that's another positive thing.
I don't know if you know. I mean, I know people that have been and had things stolen. So I had a friend years ago. He's was riding his motorbike through Cambodia, and his girlfriend was on the back of the bike, and she had she had the backpack on that had like all their stuff, all their wallets and passports or whatever. And another bike came up beside them with like a razor and just went foot and cut it off her back and then took off. Yeah. So he lost everything. And my buddy's he's a dual citizen. So he's Canadian and British, and I guess the British consulate, like the UK consulate, was closest or whatever, or most helpful. I don't remember it's a while ago now, but he ended up having to sleep on the couch there for a few days. And his girlfriend was Thai, so she had to kind of go one direction to get her stuff sorted out, and he went another, and yeah, it was pretty wild. So,
my God,
yeah, it's funny. One of the questions that came up in the quirky things that I asked ChatGPT to come up with was, if your passport could talk, what would it say? Which I thought was a great question.
Yeah,
I'm not going to use that. But mine would say, and I'm probably giving away, some secrets here, but like mine would say, like, I have a money belt, and I always keep it in a money belt. Like when we were in Japan, you're supposed to keep your passport on you like the whole time. Yes. So I have it in a money, not that I felt at threat or anything in Japan. It's, but I don't like to have it in a pocket that's easily accessible to others.
Yeah.
So I always have a money belt. And so it's kind of like crammed into my pants, and, it's like, I'm like Al Bunding my money belt around my waist. Right. So, unfortunately my passport doesn't see much, but, yeah, I've been very lucky, knock on wood, in that sense. So
I remember one time, I think the dodgiest situation I can remember, it was in Istanbul, and I think I was trying to find some like old building or something. And I remember walking to an overpass, but like a tunnel.
Okay.
But the ceiling was really low for some reason, and like a super long tunnel. And I saw like, 5 or 6 teenagers, hanging around or hanging out or something at the end of the tunnel. And I was like,
something's,
yeah, I don't like this. And I turned around and walked back.
Another way.
And like, the building, screw that building, I guess. And I don't regret it.
No, chances are nothing would have happened, but you have to sometimes just go with your gut, right? So
yeah, because like I felt super exposed and vulnerable. Like, as you say, 99.9% nothing would have happened. But like if they jumped me, I would have been too far away from anyone because there was no one around. And I would have been like, an easy mark.
It's interesting too. Like we went to New York City, I don't know, 15 years ago or something like that. And it was great. It was our first time there. And when we were taking like, and Google Maps was pretty new at the time. And I looked up a couple of like restaurants and whatever. And we had found this one. It was an Australian pub and it had really good reviews. And I'm like, let's go there. But the way it took us was like through these like back roads. And honestly, it's 8 at night, but it's dark and there's nobody there. And I was just like, okay, this is interesting. I didn't feel unsafe then, but we went last summer, summer 04. Sorry, we're recording this at the start of 2026. And like, I don't feel like I felt a change in New York since the time before. And I wouldn't have done those same alleys or, pathways to get to these places. Like I didn't feel and maybe my son being there was like an additional element, like just, keep it to the streets or whatever.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I know what you mean. If something feels wrong, it might be. So, just best trust your gut, right?
Yeah. And especially if there is no one around.
Yeah.
There's no point calling for help or anything. There is no one.
No.
Except you and your opponent.
Or
You know?
opponents, more than
Yes,
one.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, that's scamming and other things. What is your second question?
This was another. I thought that was a good question. What city or country deserves more hype?
Yeah, I think it's harder and harder to find a good answer to that because like there is so many Instagrammers,
Yes.
the digital nomads and all that stuff.
Agreed.
I think a pleasant surprise was Albania
Okay.
because the capital, Tirana, the former mayor was a painter,
Nice.
an artist, and he really put his focus on making the city center look pretty. And some of the buildings are really, really super colorful and a very pleasant surprise in that regard. I was there for only a couple of days, so I stayed in the capital.
Right.
But I've heard that there are really nice, not national parks, but nature and the great outdoors and some really nice areas. Apparently, I might go back at some point, but off the top of my head, that would be my answer. What about you?
I would say the previously mentioned New Zealand. It's not, not that people don't go there. They do, like you said. And, I think when the Lord of the Rings stuff, that brought a lot of tourism. I'm sure I remember hearing about it when we were there. But I don't think for North Americans, it's in a lot of people's mind just because it is far. And, it's like Australia in that sense, right? It's just, or Japan or what have you. I mean, Japan's actually becoming pretty popular. I've met a lot of people since we've been in that have gone or are going or.
Oh, okay.
But New Zealand is not one. And I would say, New Zealand is really cool. I liked Auckland has a great waterfront. And if the tourism board there would like to send me a free trip because I'm promoting it right now on your podcast, I would love that. Yeah, it's a great place. It's arguably the most scenic place I've ever been. I've never been out west in Canada. That might be changing in the near future. And I've heard that that's beautiful as well. But yeah, it's probably one of the most scenic places I've ever been. Now, scenic can mean many different things, but honestly, it was just, within 2 days of traveling, because we traveled on the North and the South Island by road, you saw, all the beautiful, the ocean and all these and mountains and just we stayed at a glacier and it was, amazing. So I would say New Zealand, and probably not that people don't go there and stuff, but it's just the fact that it's so far from where you and I are right now. So.
Yeah, that's true. But would you have an answer for lesser known spots?
Maybe Malta, but I mean, Malta's, I don't know. Malta's.
It's well known.
It's well known too. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I've been to enough not well known places. I'm sure there's probably a city or something that might pop into my mind, but yeah, I mean, but if it's what deserves more hype, I would definitely say New Zealand. I don't know. That maybe it'll come to me while we're talking, and I'll jump back to it. But
okay.
City wise,
Malta is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, Malta's great. That's where I went for my honeymoon. So.
Oh, okay. How long did you stay?
A week.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't ask me where. I don't remember.
No, we went there 4 days or something.
Okay.
But
the original intent was to go to Italy. We just couldn't get I think, we were newlyweds and whatever. I don't think if I remember correctly, we couldn't get the location for the price we wanted. And my wife had been to Malta before. And so it was good. Yeah, no, I loved it. But yeah, I would definitely say New Zealand deserves more hype. There you go. Okay. I'll think of a city. It'll come to me.
No
or
problem.
Town or location. So
no problem. All right. So yeah, my third question would be, what is the weirdest thing that you saw happen while you were on a plane or a train?
Okay. So I'm going to go back to my Dublin story. We're halfway across the Atlantic. And so that they come over the announcements and they say, hey, Manchester airport's just shut down. So we've been redirected to Dublin. And now, you have to remember at that point, however many hundreds of people are on this plane, it's silent because we're all listening, right? And all of a sudden you just hear this one woman go, woohoo! And it turned out, because we actually were talking to her later, that she didn't want to go to Manchester or the UK. She wanted to go from Toronto to Dublin, but she couldn't get a flight. So she's like, well, I'm going to fly to Manchester and then I'll double back.
Okay.
Now she didn't have to double back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that worked out. That was probably the most unique thing. I mean, yeah, it's pretty funny. I was like, that couldn't have worked out better for her. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. What about you?
I got 2 answers for that one.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, and one is on a train and the other is on a plane. So I'll start with the train one and then the story continues outside the train. Okay, so 1994, spent a summer working in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on a train. My work gig is done. So I have 2.5 weeks free. So I'll first Berlin and then Hamburg and then Cologne and other cities. So yeah, I'm on a train from Erfurt to Berlin.
Okay.
The train is not packed, but full. And we have like seat reservations and all that stuff. So I have a window seat and I have no one next to me. I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
No, not going to have to deal with people. Just look out the window and read and, it's all good. It's about a 4-hour train ride, if I remember.
Okay.
So yeah, the train leaves, and then I see at the end of the car, this guy. This is 94, and that guy looked like he walked off the set of Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he had enormous, like half-tinted glasses, square. I remember that. His like a powder blue suit jacket, and I think it was brown or beige pants and a striped shirt.
Okay.
And I was like, are you joking? And then I saw him, looking at the ticket and looking at the seat numbers.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and I look at him and fuck, he's gonna sit next to me. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he sits next to me and I was like, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. And, it keeps going. And then a few minutes later, I feel a tap on my shoulder and it's that guy showing me a piece of paper with something written in German in cursive. And it said something like, can you help me find an address in Berlin? And I was like, what? And I also noticed that his penmanship was absolutely impeccable. And it was in cursive,
Right.
but each letter was separate from the other.
Okay.
And I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah.
That's interesting.
And I look over and he had a Russian-German phrase book on his lap.
Okay.
So the guy was Russian.
Russian, yeah.
So I say to him, like, it's my first time in Berlin, so I cannot, help you there.
Yeah.
And like we try and communicate. The guy was maybe like early 40s-ish.
Okay.
And like, okay, so eventually he asked me where I'm from. Before leaving, I saw the documentary about the Russia-Canada hockey series in 72.
Yeah.
So I remember that in the back of the Canadian jerseys, Canada was spelled with a K.
Okay.
K-A-H for an N.
Right.
A, D, little weird looking D, but you can recognize it, and then A.
Okay.
So I
wrote it that way.
Yeah, I wrote it that way, and I drew the flag underneath.
Yeah.
So I showed that to him. And he starts laughing because he must have been thinking, of all the fucking people in the train, I get the foreigner,
Yeah.
the non-German. So he gets his wallet, pulls out a 5 rubles note from Ukraine. It was Ukrainian.
Ukrainian. Okay.
We're like, holy shit. Okay. So yeah, we keep, trying to communicate and all that. So he turns out to be, really, nice. And, okay, so we get off the train in Berlin and I'm like, okay, he's trying to find an address, doesn't speak German. Now my mission is to help the guy.
Find out where he's going.
Exactly. So again, this is 94. So there were phone booths all over, so I grab a phone book. He shows me the address with the phone number. I pick up the phone and dial. So, my German is okay, but on the phone, it's not easy.
No.
Because, you can't...
you don't get the nuance. You just get
and
actual
and
words. And
you can't use body language.
No.
So that's really difficult. And someone picks up the phone, and it's a young kid, like maybe how old can a kid be when he
Yeah,
can
5,
answer the phone?
6,
Oh, yeah, okay, so yeah, he
Yeah.
must have been 5, 6, and like I explain in German, is your mother home, and blah 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 and blah blah blah, and then as he was answering me, because he didn't want to give out
Sure.
too much information, I realized that kid's German is probably about as good as mine.
Oh, gotcha.
So shit. Okay, so try and keep it simple, and eventually it gets nowhere. So okay, I hang up. That's cool. The mission continues. So I see a cab, and the driver is like sitting in his cab, and I ask the driver in German, "I'm sorry, sir, can you help me?" And like he, kind of half shrugs, half nods, because like he must have been expecting asking for a free ride, exactly,
here, whatever.
And I only have like 10 marks because this was before the Euros. And then, okay, so yeah, I say, keep going in German. This man here doesn't speak German, and he is looking for an address, this address right here. And okay, I know where that is, no problem. And then, yeah, okay, so, and I cannot do anything more because the guy doesn't speak German. And then the driver asked me, which language does he speak? I say Russian. And then the driver turns to the other guy and says, "Я говорю по-русски." He spoke Russian and then looking back, it made perfect sense because it was in 94. The wall fell 5 years before.
Yeah, a couple years.
And in East Germany, the second language they learned at school was Russian.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the cabbie spoke Russian, no wonder.
Yeah.
And I remember my mouth dropped open and my brain exploded because I never realized that back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember also while the guy was answering, talking to my new friend, I remember the cabbie like glancing over at me with my mouth open, and it's like, are you okay? Like, with a like raise an eyebrow and say, are you okay? And yeah, eventually he got into the cab and shook my hand, and I still remember his name. And he got into the cab and drove off.
Isn't it weird that like that story would not happen nowadays, right?
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, that's true.
30 years later, it'd be like, oh, hold on, grab my phone. Where did you want to go? Oh, or in case they didn't have a phone, right?
Yes.
Chances are they have a phone. This doesn't happen from the start.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I'll never forget. I went to Scotland the first time on my own in 98. I got off the train. I'd taken the train up from England, from London, and I'm in Glasgow. And my mom's whole side is Scottish, so I'm pretty used to the accent. But you're not used to the accent until you get into Glasgow.
Yes, confirmed.
Good Lord.
Yes.
It's like I just got in there, and I remember I had to get to St. George Square, but the train station and George Square, they're like two blocks apart. I didn't know that, right? Because in 98, I didn't have a phone, and I wasn't looking up the maps before I went. And I remember getting into the cab, and I said, yeah, can you take me to George Square or whatever? I was going to like a pub. I was meeting my cousin at this pub, and he just gave me the strangest look because I was in the car all of 60 seconds. And he's like, right there. And I was like, oh no, right? And then I'm giving him like a tip in, like in pounds. And I only have English pounds, and that's a different, so like Scottish, I mean, they're the same. You can spend Scottish pounds in England.
That's true.
But they don't get them. So they would rather have their country's currency when you get there. And I'm like, oh, so sorry, man. So I must have been like the biggest schmuck. But again, these stories would not happen now, which is, it's a shame, but it's also like, it's more convenient, but it's just...
you lose some, story potential.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so that's funny. So yeah, your story, like, that wouldn't happen, right?
No,
it's just weird.
It's true. And yeah, I'm happy that you mentioned the Scottish pounds versus the British pounds. Okay, so both are worth the same,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as I know, because my friend from who lives in Glasgow, she told me about it. So I don't think they would accept Scottish pounds in London, for example.
They do, but they're
you would get a few dirty looks.
You got, oh yeah, I got
Yes.
them. I got
Okay.
them. Yeah. And they have to take it because it's like the same, as far as I'm aware, they have to take us, obviously, because same currency, just,
Yeah.
but yeah, they don't like it if they don't have to. So,
Yes.
mhm.
So actually, my second answer to that question, the weirdest thing happening while I was on a plane or a train. So now for the plane story.
Mm.
So this was with Wow Air.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that was in 2016, I guess. I was flying back from Keflavik, Reykjavik to Montreal, and there was a young woman next to me, and I was in the cattle class.
Mhm.
Absolutely no room to move at all. I was fine as long as I didn't need to move.
Right.
So
Been there.
yes, so she must have been in early 30s or something. She had a super young baby on her lap. So yeah, it's flight is going well. I have my noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
And I still hear/feel a thud at some point. And the woman dropped her baby.
Bro. Whoa.
She must have taken some kind of a pill mixed with booze or something, because she was out like a light. And I noticed from on my peripheral vision, I noticed a few heads turning, towards us. And since I had my headphones, I was like, okay, so I have a few more seconds to figure out what to do.
What the plan of action is here.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I was stuck. I couldn't move. I couldn't reach down and grab the baby. I didn't have any room at all.
Room. Yeah.
No, exactly. So I tapped the woman on the shoulder gently. Nothing. A little harder, still on the shoulder. Nothing. So I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I gotta do something here. And the baby was screaming.
And she's not reacting at all.
She is out like a light. It must have been good, strong medication. And I waved to a steward. I should remember this, but I think it was a man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I waved him over, and I explained she dropped her baby, and I'm not gonna, shake her like an airplane.
Yeah.
Like in the movie.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah.
So the steward gives me a thumbs up, and he grabs the woman's shoulder and shakes. Does it again harder. And next, and I swear, I'm not bullshitting you, he slaps her hard.
Well, she's not reacting and her baby's on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The baby is still screaming.
Right.
People are kind of freaking out. Yeah, he slaps her in the face once. He does it again.
Wow.
And then she woke up.
Good Lord.
And then she picked up her baby. She was horrified, mortified. And yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I asked her, and her English didn't seem to be that good, are you okay? Yes, thank you. And the rest of the flight was uneventful, but I still white knuckled the rest of the flight because Jesus.
If you're having your baby, and I get it, you see babies on laps and stuff all the time, but I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And maybe this could be one of those discussions on Instagram that has thousands and thousands of responses. But is that not your job, just to stay awake because you're holding on to your baby?
Absolutely.
I don't understand.
So I don't know. Yeah, and
especially if she's not trading it with trading them with somebody.
No, she was on her own.
On her own, yeah.
And I mean, she maybe she took something that was much more powerful than she expected.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's crazy. I was stunned.
Well, it's fine. I will add to this. So on the way back from New Zealand, we left from Christchurch to LA. And there was 3 guys that sat in front of my wife and I at the time. And they all ordered 3 shots of Jack Daniels before, we just taken off. They ordered 3 shots of Jack Daniels. And I think each. Yeah.
Jesus.
And I think that's, I can't remember. It's 14 hours from Auckland to whatchamacallit, to the LA, 12, 14 hours, something like that.
Around that.
I will never forget that. So they all have these 3 shots. They have a big blanket, which they then share. right? So
Okay.
they've got it covered over, and they slept the entire time. Not once did any of them get up to go to the bathroom, to get something from the back, their bag, nothing. They
Wow.
were out the entire time. And I slept like I actually took sleeping pills. When we came back from Australia before that, I was wiped out for days. Like I had never had jet lag that bad. So coming back from New Zealand, I was like, I'm not going through that again. And I went to the doctor and I said and they said, oh, just get the over the count, right?
Mhm.
This thing knocked me out, but it did it in like 3-hour intervals. And my wife didn't sleep that flight. She's like, she just couldn't sleep. So I remember asking her, I'm like, did these guys get up yet? And she's like, nope, no movement. Like, so yeah. So I don't know how people like can just do that. Like I struggle to sleep on a plane, let alone
Same.
never held a baby while doing it. And I've never, and you know, Jack is not good for me. So I don't like it.
I mean, that was for them. I mean, as long as they didn't feel like shit when the plane landed.
Well, they might have. I don't know about that,
but that was a perfect play.
Yeah,
you know, good for them.
They were the seat, like the one that has a little. What do they call it? I can't think of it. They had a little bit more leg room.
Oh yes, okay, like
So-
premium economy or something.
Well,
or?
no, we were like in cattle, but they were like the first row of cattle. So they had.
Okay.
Now, I think they were the ones, if I remember correctly, they were the ones that have like, okay, in
The
case
exit
of an
row?
emergency, you're gonna have
Yeah,
to do this. They wouldn't have woke up. Like they would have been like your woman. Like I would have been like, I'll do it. You know. So
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God.
Crazy.
Oh Jesus.
yeah, you can't make these things up, man. Like you can't do it.
No,
You know?
and like I'm guessing that the guy didn't feel too good about slapping the woman, that
No.
he didn't have a choice.
No, exactly. I mean, pour water on her or something, but
Yeah, maybe.
but even then, like, you know, and again, like you said, if she's taken something, you know, you can't. If you have to reason with somebody and they've got something external in their system, that's not always going to be the easiest thing,
Yeah,
right?
true.
So to try to wake somebody up who's in that state, like, good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
You know?
My
Yeah.
God. That's because otherwise I think my flights have been relatively uneventful.
Yeah, mine too. Knock on wood, thankfully.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, I've had some incidents where like bad turbulence for a
Yes.
while or something like that, but
Same,
nothing.
but still I've been lucky.
yeah,
so
we've
far.
had and a couple medical things,
Okay.
but I think everything's worked out as far as I know. So,
Yes.
you know, yeah.
Wow. All right. So what would be your third question?
Okay. The question was, what's your most chaotic travel day from start to finish?
All right. Okay, that would be around 2016. I think I was on a train from Detmold in Germany to Cologne or Dortmund. Yes, about an hour. An hour train, more or less. And 20 minutes into the train ride, I see the controller, controlling tickets and all that, and he asked somebody for their ID. And then I realized, fuck, I left my passport in the hotel safe.
Oh, no.
Yes. I was like, fuck me.
No.
Okay, so that never happened before
Mhm.
because I always keep my passport within sight.
Yeah.
And I never use a hotel safe. But that day, for some reason, I did.
Right.
Look where that got me. So my train ticket is okay, so all good. I get off at the next stop. I forgot which city it was. I call the hotel and say, okay, so yes, the cleaning lady found your passport. We have it. It's all good. And I was like, okay, so can you send it with UPS?
Yeah, courier. Yeah.
Yeah, to my Airbnb in Berlin. And she would not, because they probably didn't want to be liable if
Right.
something happened.
Fair enough.
And I was like, okay, shit, I'll take another train and
Head back.
Yes, head back. And I picked up my passport, felt like the biggest idiot in the world because I was meeting one of my friends in the other city.
Mm.
So I, messaged her, I fucked up and feel free to laugh at me. I deserve it. So I'll be there 90 minutes later than expected.
Yeah.
And and I did, and that was that. And it was maybe total, maybe a 4-hour window that
Right.
everything happened. Fortunately, the rest of the day went great. But when you mentioned that question, that was the thing that popped into my mind.
Yeah. I mean, a very short one that happened was in Japan. We had stayed in Osaka for a week and we were taking the bullet train back to Tokyo so we could fly out. And we had left our Airbnb and we were standing in the station, and all of a sudden it dawned on me that I had the keys to the apartment in my back pocket. And so all of a sudden like perfect timing, my phone goes off and it's the host saying, "Hey, we don't have the key," because you're supposed to leave it back in the mailbox. And I was like, "Yeah, I've just realized I've got it." And I'm like, "Is there anywhere I can like mail it to you?" And they were like, "Well, the cleaners are there." So no, because I'm not, I guess the host wasn't nearby. And I was like, "Oh, you got to be joking." So thankfully, like we talked about, full circle, when we talked about being at the airport early, we were at the train station early. And I knew it was about a half an hour train, but we were a couple hours early. So I said to my wife and I said, I got to go back.
Okay.
So thankfully I didn't have to carry out the luggage, but then I had to jump back on the train, go back into Osaka, drop it off. By this point, the host, like her husband was there.
Okay.
So I'm like, "I'm super sorry." And he's like, "It's okay." And, we're translating through and I'm like, "I'm really," and then he's like, do you need a cab or something? I'm like, no, I'm good. And then I'm running back to the train station to get back on. So, and the other thing was too, in Japan, you have a travel card that you can put on your Apple Wallet. And I had kind of figured it out where it was like, I didn't really want to have a ton of extra money on it. So I thought I had enough, but then because of all this, I didn't. So then I had to put more money on it. But I mean, that's not the most hectic. That's just a quick aside. I mean, I think the most hectic day I ever had, and it wasn't even that, it was just busy, was when we flew to Australia. It started off so in Toronto, when you fly to America from Canada, you go through American customs on this side.
Yes.
So we got there and we were flying because I was connection in LA, and the guy goes, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Oshawa." And he said, "No." He said, "Where are you coming from?" And I said, "Oshawa." And he just looked at me and he goes, "No, where are you coming from?" And I go, "My house." And I think he thought we were like in transit. I didn't understand. And he just and my wife's looking at me like, "You're going to mess this up for it." And I'm like, "I don't know what I'm saying gets wrong." And I go, no, we just came here, like we're flying and once I kind of explained it, he was like, "I don't know, whatever. Custom agents anywhere can be a little funny, but
yeah,
I didn't know." So that's fine, whatever. We get to LA. And then once we got to LA, we had a couple hour window. It wasn't a ton of time, but then on our flight from LA to Sydney was the Kansas State women's basketball team.
Oh, okay.
Which was cool, right? Because they were going there for a tournament, because I was talking to some of the players and stuff. And then we ended up landing super early in Sydney. It was something like, I don't know. And we didn't have a car. So it was like, and this was it was like 2007. So it was like, again, phones weren't really like, I had a phone that worked there, but it didn't have like maps on it or anything like that. And I'll never forget. Yeah. Cause the first iPhone came out in 2007. So it kind of shows you where we were. My phone certainly was like, it flipped, folks, it's like, but I just remember and then there was a problem with our bus. They didn't have the bus lined up or something. So I'm having to call. So we eventually get to our hotel and we're too early. So by a little bit, I think they got us in not long after, but we had to kind of kill some time. So we went and got lunch. We're dragging all this, dragging our luggage around.
You couldn't even leave the luggage at the hotel?
I remember dragging some of it. So maybe it was just our bags, like our backpacks, but I don't remember. And then, so we got some lunch, and I'll never forget, we got back probably 4 or 5 or something. Like it was, like late afternoon, early evening. And the next thing I know, I woke up and it was 6 a.m. So we had slept 12, 13 hours straight.
Okay.
Neither of us got up for the bath, nothing. Knocked out. It's the last time I've slept over 8 hours in one time ever, let alone 12. We must have just been exhausted. So just the whole day of the traveling and kind of the stress. And, traveling can be stressful, right? Like it's
Oh,
not,
yeah, absolutely.
you don't mean it to be and you try to make it not, but it can be just because there's moving parts and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we slept 12, 13 hours straight. And neither of us were just like, well, we'll go get dinner. Like we'll lay down for a minute, have a bit of a nap or whatever. And then the next thing was the next morning. And then we're
eyes.
like, where are we? Yeah. So then it's like, oh no. So yeah, we kind of lost the day, but it was needed, I guess.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah. So
God. Because Australia is 14 hours ahead, I think, of us.
The East Coast.
Yeah.
I think the East, and that's Sydney. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just a long day because you're fighting time zones and
Yeah, no, that's true.
with the layover, it was a couple hours. It was a little while and
even if you can sleep on the plane, it's not a restful sleep.
No.
You can still feel like shit,
Qantas is obviously they've got it down to a fine art as best they can because they're used to it. But yeah, I mean, even if you're like this summer, I mean, we were on 12-hour flights and I struggle to relax anyway. The neck, I remember I was listening to one of our episodes a while ago and I remember I mentioned I got a new neck pillow and I probably didn't have that on the way to I didn't have that on the way to Australia. Maybe that would have helped. So,
yeah.
But yeah, just, again, it wasn't maybe chaotic, just busy,
Yeah.
So.
Because I don't know, I might have said it in the previous episode, but when it's not even for short distances, like in those situations, I can only relax once I am in my Airbnb with the keys in my hand, and then I can relax. Yeah. Otherwise, it is, I'm not going to say battle, but like I have to stay on until I get there, and then I'll relax.
Even then for us is a little bit of a struggle because we like to maybe have a couple provisions in our place, like have some milk for tea or like, I don't know, just a snack or something, whatever. And just so like, okay, let's find a store that's nearby or, but yeah, I know what you mean. Again, it's hard to kind of decompress because you've been on the go. And again, a big chunk of that could be literally sitting in an airplane. So you're not really doing anything, but you're also not able to do anything, right? So
yes, yeah, that's true. And it's still exhausting, even though you're not doing anything.
That's right. And it's not like the most comfortable chair or anything.
No,
so.
That's true. That's true.
But listen to first world problems. I know.
That's also true. And Jesus.
But it's the best. I love it, and I can't wait to do it. Well, I'm sure we'll talk again. But my wife and I have started talking about our summer plans. So. Mm-hmm. That's always a fun part too, right? Is to start to plan and kind of put things together. And it's, I think I mentioned it before, it can be a bit of information overload at this point, right? Because there's just so many things online and that's great because you can have everything kind of ready, but, and it's like, I don't want to, it's FOMO sometimes too. It's like, are we going to miss this out or are we going to make things more stressful than they need to be? So.
Yeah. And it's super easy to fall into that trap of booking too many things.
Yeah.
And then, you run around and you don't enjoy it as much as you would.
That's right. So you kind of have to have a big picture and then go, what really matters, right? And then we'll go from there. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. So I have a list of travel questions, but I have other questions as well, but we will save them for another travel episode. This is a work in progress. We might have more people on the next one. Mm-hmm. We'll figure it out as we go. But this was fun. It's always nice to walk down memory lane for that kind of story. I'm always there for it.
Well, me too. And it's nice to talk to other people who appreciate traveling, right? Because not everybody does, and that's fair enough. Mm-hmm. But it's something, and maybe it's just my job, like because I kind of know when I'm going to be off during the year, and we always try to plan something during those times. That it's something I look forward to a couple times a year. So it's kind of a big part of my life that I love. So, and I know you do as well.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So this was great. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for having me. That was a ton of fun. Thank you.
Awesome. Where can we reach you online?
Again, Instagram and Blue Sky. I am on Facebook, but I don't even have the app on my phone. Pickies with filters, Picies with filters. And it'd be nice if I got friend requests from people who were real.
Yes. Yeah, that's good point. Valid point.
Yeah.
You guys can drop us a line at EETF Pod on Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter. And if you have questions related to travel, hit us up and we'll see what we can do.
We're all too happy to become travel influencers
Yes.
who get to this is the greatest place ever, but they paid for it. So it's just,
Exactly. Sponsored by, the Qatari Foundation.
I'm happy to go pretty much anywhere at the moment. Well, maybe not a couple places, but most places I'm good.
Yeah,
so.
most places.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners. We will catch you on the next one. Thanks.